In this video I'm going to teach you about Roman numerals. Roman numerals, what is the point? Do I hear you say? They're all dead anyway, they've been dead for thousands of years. I think you'll find that the Roman Empire is generally considered to have ceased to be when barbarian Germanic leader Odoacer overthrew Roman Emperor Romulus Augustus in AD 476. Or at least you probably would say that if you knew all that stuff. So let's just have a quick look at when the Roman Empire actually was. I've got a timeline up here, and you'll notice that 0, which is believed to be when Jesus Christ was born, whether you like it or not, that's when we start our calendar from. And AD, Anno Domini, dates count forwards from there, and BC, before Christ, dates count backwards from there. So the further backwards it is, the bigger the date in the BC terms. So the Roman Empire actually finished there. I'll put that on in a moment. Rome was founded in 753 BC. Legend has it by Romulus and Remus, who were brought up by a wolf and all that sort of stuff, which we're not going to go into. So 753 BC is round about there. Okay, so it started there. Well, Rome was founded there. The actual Roman Empire itself is reckoned to have started in earnest with proper emperors and all that sort of stuff round about 27 BC, which is there, and finished, as I just mentioned, in 476 AD, which is here, giving us a period of around about 500 years for your classical sort of Roman Empire type period between here and here. So there's a 500-ish year period there when the Roman Empire was actually at its height and all this stuff was happening. You may be thinking, what on earth has that got to do with us? Why on earth do we need to know about the number system that they used back then, which was a little bit random, a little bit illogical, a little bit difficult to use, and they used these letters to represent numbers? What is the point? Particularly since we now are around about there. And that is 1,540 years after that, so it really is very old news. However, Roman numerals are still used quite a bit. I've looked at one or two things, and I've just made a little list down here in case I forget. For instance, kings, monarchs and people like that. You will have heard, I am sure, of Henry VIII. And the 8th part is generally written like that in Roman numerals. As with every other monarch, you may have seen the film Rocky 4, if they made 4, can't remember. But film sequels are generally also written in Roman numerals. Other things, in books, the preface at the beginning of the book, before the book starts proper, you're likely to find the pages are numbered in small Roman numerals, usually like that. Other things, you'll find that on buildings, gravestones, that kind of thing, dates are very often written up in Roman numerals. The place you're likely to see it the most, and you probably see it every day without necessarily realising or understanding or noticing, is on the BBC and quite often at the ends of films. And you'll find that at the end of every BBC television programme it says copyright BBC and then the year. That being this year. It has been suggested that the BBC and films do that so that you can't actually see how old the film is, because most people can't read Roman numerals, except you. Soon. So let's have a look at what these letters and things actually mean. Firstly, the most basic thing that there is there is every 10, hundreds, thousands, there's a letter for it. So if we start with the 1 at the bottom, the I simply represents a 1. It looks like a 1, that's fine. The next major one, the X, represents 10. The C represents 100. and the M represents 1000. Now the Romans very soon realised that if you have that, and you only have the ones I've drawn there, you're going to have some quite long numbers. Because if you want to represent 800, you'll have to have 8 of these C's, one after the other, in a row. That's a bit cumbersome and a bit long-winded. So they also introduced some other numbers for the stops halfway. So the I is 1, the V is 5. That's 10, that's 100. The L is 50. And this one, therefore, the D is 500. So you make up your numbers using these. Let's just have a look at a few numbers, and I'll just clear off this and put some numbers up, and we'll have a look at them. Okay, let's start off with the numbers 1 to 12, and we'll just run through those. You can work these out, hopefully, quicker than I'm doing them. 1 is just that. 2 is going to be 2 of those. 3 is going to be 3 of those. 4 originally was 4 ones. I'll come back to that one in a moment. 5 is the V. 6 is a V and a 1. 7 is a V and 2 ones. 8 is a V and, you've guessed it, 3 ones. It would follow that 9 would be a V and 4 ones. And sometimes it is. Coming back to that one, 10 is an X. 11 is an X and a 1. 12 is an X and 2 ones. Now, as you may be aware, and as I just mentioned, some of these aren't usually written like that, although on clocks, as with another place that Roman numerals are used quite a bit, the 4 is very often written like that. It usually is 4 ones on a clock, except on Big Ben, where it's a 1 and a V, which I'm just about to show you. So for these ones, you can have that, or, because it was decided that it was a bit cumbersome to have 4 of the same letter next to each other, they then introduced a subtractive system, which is what we generally use now, which is if there's a small number, such as a 1, in front of the larger number, the 5, instead of adding it on, which is what you do if it was on that side, you take it away and it makes 4. So normally the small number comes after the bigger one. If it comes before it, you subtract it from it. So we can do the same with 9, which is 10, take away 1. Like that. There are some other examples which I can just show you of that. For instance, if you have 90, that is 100, take away 10. So 90 is generally written as XC, being 10 less than 100. Similarly, 40 is 10 less than 50. So 40 is written as XL, usually. One other example of that, which is one that you are likely to see quite a bit, because all the dates in the last century were 1900 and something, so they had to have 900 to write out those dates, and 900 is 100 less than 1000. So 900 is written as C M. Okay. Now, in order to get the hang of these, you need to do a bit of practice. So what I'm going to do is leave you with some examples to have a go at, and then in the next video, which is down there, I will actually go over them with you and you can see if you've got them right. Okay, I'm going to leave you with some numbers to convert into Roman numerals here, and some on this side to convert back into decimal numbers, and in the next video I will go over those examples for you.